such a neat variety of performers and guests with us this evening that you're just going to want to make sure you don't miss a moment of it. If you'll notice that there are phone numbers on the bottom of your screen, that is for our prayer line and information line. So if you would, if you miss anything, any information that's given out, or if you need prayer, or if you have a question about something that you hear on the program, we want to invite you to call in. And if the number's busy, just call again. We've got people here that are waiting to take your calls and would love to do that. And it's going to be fun now to get to talk with somebody who is kind of a dual personality guest. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Welcome to the set, T. Culler. Thank you, T. Culler, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Chiropractor by day, rock star by night.
Yep.
You are living the dream.
Well, I probably am. It's been quite a neat ride lately. The last several years have blossomed into a music career that I didn't really see coming, and all while I was seeing patients every day, 5 days a week. So that's it's been neat, and God's been good to me.
Yeah, I'm curious how that did happen.
About 4 or 5 years ago, I've been writing songs the whole time through working and playing at churches every once in a while, but my wife told me, why don't you send your song somewhere? And so I ended up making a short demo and sent it to a fella in Nashville. And Scotty Faircloth listened to him and loved him and said, you need to come up here, let's do a whole record. And the next thing you know, we'd gotten nominated for Male Artist of the Year and for Song of the Year on Indie Heaven. And so a lot of neat little things happened quick.
It's just amazing the way, God's timetable for everybody is so different.
Yeah, that was a true God thing, let me tell you, because it did not, it's just amazing how he pulled it off, so.
Yeah.
The patients thought, though, at the time that I was having a midlife crisis because I went from having short hair and looking like a doctor to growing it out and looking like this. But the guys in Nashville said, you better change your look really quick, boy. So I did.
Wow. So you listened to the advice and you did it.
Yeah.
And, I was thinking about that when I said that about, God's timetable, because I think some people, we get frustrated when we feel like we try and we try and we try and something doesn't happen, and then we watch somebody else.
Yeah.
Like you, it just happens overnight or whatever. But it really does come down to God knowing us and having a perfect plan for each one of our lives and a purpose in that.
I wholeheartedly agree. I really do. He, who would have ever thought at that point in my life that I've been working, about 14, 15 years at that point, and all of a sudden, the songs that I weren't sure if anybody would really like them, when you actually submitted to somebody who did it for a living, actually loved it, and then and so it was really validating, I think, at that point to find out that they were good enough and they did minister to people, but they were coming straight out of my heart. There were things that were happening in my life, and so I was just writing what I was going through a lot of times,
I think that's why our personal stories are so powerful, and music that's written personal.
What a great outlet for it.
Things are so powerful because I know anytime I bring this up in different groups and I'll say, how many of you feel like you're the only one?
Yeah.
Every hand goes up.
Yeah.
Because that's this universal thing. We think, I'm the only one who struggles with this. I'm the only one who's been tempted by this. I'm the only one who has these kinds of days or thoughts or whatever. And that's why your music resonates, is because it's so real.
It is. I mean, when the first two records, both of them, I was telling people that this is the things you're hearing in there are things that I'm going through, the things that are in my heart, and things I'm suffering with or lamenting over. And for me, it's just a great way to put it into words and into music. And so I'm just thankful that God gives me the tunes, when they come. And so some come quickly and some take a little bit of time, but they've all, people really seem to enjoy them, which is great. I'm thankful for that.
Well, as a chiropractor, you're probably the healthiest Christian rock star out there right now.
I'd like to think I am. I could probably do better, but we do try to promote that pretty heavily at my office too. So that's a good thing.
I was just thinking, and there's several things. So I want us to make sure that we get to talk about these.
Yeah.
You've got your End of the Day.
Yep, that's my second CD.
Okay, that's the second one, and then you've got Maybe Next Sunday.
Maybe Next Sunday, yeah. We had a song that
This is when you were letting your hair grow out.
Exactly. That was
these are the growing out your hair days.
Mid-long hair time.
And then tell us, this is fascinating and exciting. You got to write music for this movie, Stand Strong.
I have. It is amazing. That again is a God thing. A friend of mine, Frances Baker, who's believed in me ever since she's heard me for a long time, sent some of my songs to a movie studio out west, Illuminated Productions, and without me even knowing it. And one
Those
day
are the kind of friends we all need. We all need friends like that.
And I was actually here in Atlanta, and she called me when I was playing up here one day and said that they called and said they were putting two of the songs that I'd written off both these records and put them in one of their movies. And so who would have ever thought you could get songs into a movie in your life? And since then, which is neat, they've got another one coming out May of next year, of 2012, and they've taken another one, Your Time to Cry, off the second record, and they're putting it in that one. So,
And you've
what a
got to
blessing.
do some really neat things. I mean, for a Christian artist to open for December Radio, you've shared the stage with Barlow Girl, right?
Girl,
Tell me who else?
Rush of Fools. We played with those guys, December Radio a couple times. It's been amazing. You know, they are for them just to have us on stage, you know, with my full band was a joy and a blast, and they bring big crowds too, so that's a lot of fun to hear people singing your music back to you and stuff like that. So it has been, like I say, quite a ride the last 3.5, 4 years. So I'm very thankful, and a lot of people behind me have really helped me, and I've got to thank all of them, from my patients to my family, to like Francis I talked about, and just my Chuck, who's run my sound, and Greg Murphy. Those guys have all been amazing for me. So
and I think one of the things that I get from your life is encouragement to know that no matter where you're at in your journey, you were just doing what you were doing. You were, adjusting people and helping people find health through chiropractic care.
Yeah.
And as God stirred this gift in you, you didn't go, oh, well, you know what, but I'm already doing this, and I'm already kind of settled in this life. And
I got to tell you, it frustrated me for years as I kept on working. And when I first started chiropractic, I'd sung and played a good bit, and then I decided to put on the back burner and thought, okay, I'm not going to do this for a living. I'm going to just work as a doctor. But it never would stop. And through the years, it definitely frustrated me at times. And so when it started happening again, and Terry told me to send it somewhere, that was the moment. She hadn't said that, I wouldn't have done it, so I was very thankful for it. But it definitely was something that was eating at me the whole time. And so,
And I would imagine, as I'm listening to you and you're sharing that, I think that there are viewers watching right now who have somebody in mind right now that they need to encourage
that story's
to
gotta
go
be pretty
after that
common.
thing.
If God taught me one thing through all that, and it's vivid on my mind and heart, is patience. Patience he worked me, even through the first record. Scotty Fairclough's an amazing producer in Nashville and done some great people like Lifehouse and pop bands. But he had gotten sick during the record, and it took a little bit longer than I'd planned. But what we knew is that God had something planned with it.
Yeah.
And at the end, when it finally came out, the timing couldn't have been any more perfect. And so, he was teaching me patience. I was getting frustrated, and we were going back and forth, trying to work through his schedule and mine as well. So, but that is. And he continues to teach me that. Over and over. And so I've gotten better at listening to him and waiting on him. I'll tell you that. So.
And you've learned, as we all end up having to learn, that the journey is just as important as the destination and the goal, that God's doing something in us on the way to where he's taking us.
And he said he would renew your strength, if you did that. So he's done that for me.
Yeah,
so.
I'm thankfully renewed my strength when I got here. I told y'all 2.5 hours in Atlanta traffic. It's kind of crazy.
It was bad tonight,
you guys have been so great to help me with that. Something else that I saw that you are involved in is that you're also part of a ministry to homeless men.
Yeah.
And I want to let you talk about that.
Yeah, my wife and I had started about 5.5 years ago a shelter in Charleston, South Carolina. And it's called the Rutledge House, and we'd started taking in guys that were recovering addicts and recovering alcoholics and some kind of jail, guys that were good fellows. They just needed a help up, and not a handout, really. And so we wanted to find a place where they could live, and we could take them in and work with them and get them back on their feet. And so we've had some amazing success with it, through tough times. There's plenty of challenges that come with it, but we've worked hard, and it's getting better. It's growing. We've had another ministry recently come on wants to partner with us to really help us facilitate meeting their needs through classes and teachings that they need to learn how to write resumes, that kind of thing. But that has been a labor of love. But the neat thing was when my wife first saw it, when she saw us singing one night on a Friday night, me singing just to those guys, 13 or 20 guys, how many ever it was just pure ministry. It couldn't have been any sweeter. And, I think things like that has really solidified in my heart that that's what I need to keep doing. So, but homelessness has always been a big part of, something I've had a burden for. I actually rode a bicycle to Washington, D.C. about, I guess it's been 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and I'm from Charleston up there with a couple of guys from my band, and we went and talked to President Obama's staff about homelessness ministry, that a lot of the Christian-based ministries aren't getting a lot of support the way we hoped they would. But we stopped by 5 or 6 different shelters on the way up there and played music for them, and God, when you walked in there and told them you came off a bicycle and played for them, they were a great audience, So, but I love them. They need help. They're just like me. I'm no better. So
Circumstances
you
are
realize,
different,
oh my
but,
goodness, how
yeah,
close
the
we
human
all can
condition
be to
is the
that.
same.
Yeah. So it's been amazing.
Yeah. So I'm curious. We've got just a few minutes, and we're going to get to hear hear you perform.
Yeah,
So
the
that's
first
going
one
to
I'm
be
gonna do is off the movie. We're gonna do one off the movie.
awesome. Awesome. And I know your website has so much information. People can even find out about your chiropractic personality from your website. So go ahead and give that information, the best information out there for
Chiropractic is Tim Bennett Chiropractic, timbennettchiro.com, timbennettchiro.com, and then tculler.com is my music ministry, and the rutledgehouse.com is the third
And
one.
I noticed when I went to tculler.com that people can link to the others from that one.
Yeah,
so
they
that's
can.
probably a good starting point,
Yes.
right? To just go to tculler.com,
Yep, works.
and then they can find everything from that.
tculler.com.
Awesome, awesome. We've got a few minutes, so I do want to ask you what's coming up next. What do you have, not here next, but for you, ministry-wise? What have you got in the works? What's going on now?
Well, the last big piece of the puzzle is about a month and a half ago, I signed with a record label, with Tate Records out of Oklahoma. And so we're going to be doing a third record, which I did not know if we we're going to be doing or not. And they're going to be taking care of that one, which will be nice. And so I think a lot of big things are going to happen with booking agents and a lot of touring type stuff's coming. But yeah, I've been writing real hard recently for this new record, and maybe changing a little bit of my style of what I was doing in the first two, but still the same, geared toward the ministry, obviously, but it ought to be interesting to see how the next one goes. But I'm looking forward to seeing where they take me to. I'm very thankful that they took a chance on me, and we'll see what happens, from there with them.
If you had to name, I love asking questions to artists like this, totally live television, you have to think on your feet, all right, T. Culler? If you had to think of one song that just really meant the most to you, or was just that was that song for you, what was, of your songs, which one is there one that you could say?
That meant the most out of the writing, what I meant when I wrote it?
Just the personal, that connection that you had with a certain song.
Probably Father of Love, is on there. It's always been my favorite on the first record, because it's just a passionate love song to God. Nothing that's happened in my life, if it's chiropractic or the ministry that I can't believe that He's letting me do, has happened without Him. I'm not good enough. I wasn't worthy. I'm sure not perfect, but it's a passionate worship song to Him, really. So
just the incredible grace of God.
Yeah.
So what inspires you? I know some artists, it's Scripture. They just pull from Scripture. Some are experience, some are a combination. What would you say is?
Yeah, I'm an experienced guy. There's no doubt. I mean, when I've got time to go to Nashville and sit down and spend a time just by myself to write, it's easier. When I'm home working and I've got the shelter on me and the work on me, and I'm a worship pastor at a church. All those things make it tougher. But mine is definitely experience based. The things that are going on in my life, or maybe somebody else's life, those are what affect me, and I can usually sit down and write about it, with His help.
Absolutely. Oh, I get you. I totally get you. Thank you so much for coming all the way here from
It is my pleasure.
Charleston,
Thank
South
you for having
Carolina,
me.
and Nashville. Your dual personalities also have two addresses.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So thank you for being here. T. Culler, and you can find out more at tculler.com. And before we go to this video, we're going to get to hear from him next. I want to let you tell real quick who else is going to be on the set with you when you sing for us. Who's that guy sitting over there waiting for you?
My drummer, David Seal, is with me. He's an
Okay.
amazing drummer that I get to play with every week, and so he's going to be playing the box for us tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear. And I told y'all we have great variety tonight. We have so many different artists with us. Great conversations still coming up. Don't forget that we also have the phone lines are open in the prayer room. We're going to watch a little something from WATC while T. Culler gets ready to sing for us. And don't go away, because he's going to be back a couple of times, and we've got all kinds of other stuff coming up. So I'll see you back in just a little bit.